Awesome. Well, I'll just start off by just saying thank you all for being here. I was joking around that I went to the Sierra Canyon Windward game last night, and I never seen so much of a media circus as I saw there. It was unbelievable. So glad to have really cool media people here and telling the stories of these amazing women. So thank you for that. And we really have tried to stay on mission, and honestly, Natalie and Chantel, they set the tone for us about, there's so many things that we can get distracted by, things out of our control, the noise from the outside. But, we made a commitment to each other that we were going to be about our values and that we were going to give to each other and grow every week. And I think to the extent that we're able to focus in on that, our core values are that we're going to be people of gratitude, we're going to be lifestyle givers, and we're going to have a growth mindset. And I know that may sound like philosophical, but I actually think when we are really laser focused on that, our performance goes up and our performance is more focused and on point and less inconsistent. And so I think the more that we can stay really, really focused on that, the better off we're going to be. I really am proud of, I shared this on a call with, Drea and the other ESPN people earlier today, but I think that I am really proud of our heart. I'm very proud of our fight. There have been zero excuses, and there will be zero excuses coming out of our camp. And we need to focus more mentally. We are not rewarding ourselves for our effort in our fight to the rate that we should, based on mental lapses and just some focus times on the scouting report that we're missing purpose. And, basketball is not a one-on-one sport. You have to synergistically sort of play in purpose together. And if when we have a chance to be really competitive with Stanford tomorrow, it's going to be because we have grown in the area of consistent focus, and especially in the fourth quarter. So I'll leave it at that, and then we'll open it up for any questions.
All right, Dave Marcus.
Coach, a fantastic effort at Oregon State, and you had so many combinations on the floor who really had never played together in a game. What growth did you see during that game, and how are you going to use that to spur on even more growth in the game tomorrow?
Well, I thought, Natalie's aggression level, especially off the bounce, was really good. I think her vocal leadership has gone from, it's like doubled in its volume, its frequency, and its effectiveness. Excuse me, my dog. So Natalie's one of those. I marvel at Chantel's consistency, and especially knowing that she hardly gets to practice. That I think she's becoming, her confidence is just growing. I think you have to talk about Dominique Onu in terms of her scoring output and what she's been able to do. But I think that I think everybody's going to have to step up and continue to grow in those areas. I think specifically the people that are really taking the most on right now are Natalie and Dominique, because they're playing positions they have never played in their entire lives. They're taking on responsibility, not only for themselves and their game, but for the other people around them at a level they've really never had to do it. And they're jumping in at the most intense times. So I think the list goes on. I think the reality is all of us, including the coaches, have to step up and grow and continue that growth and learn, okay, what did Arizona teach us last week? What did Oregon State teach us last week? And then make intentional, consistent adjustments to make sure that we're moving in that direction.
Coach, one more and then I'll step out. You think you have Stanford figured out, and the Bruins have had good success. You beat them last year up there. You think you have their team figured out, then Jana Van Geitenbeek comes off the bench, starts for them and hits 6 threes. So how do you plan for a team that can throw so many different looks at you?
Well, I do think they are very system oriented, and they have a very successful system, no doubt. But it is consistent. So whether, it's new people stepping in, I think Kiki Iriefin has had some really spectacular moments. And I think you have to recruit to tendencies, or scout to tendencies. You have to scout to, what you see the trends. Honestly, we have had really good success, but we're going to have to do it a little differently this year. I do think it has to do with disruption. It has to do with not letting them get into a rhythm. They get tons of layups on straight line drives, right hand drives from the high post, as well as back cuts out of their Princeton actions. And we've got to stop that. That's how they get into rhythms. And then open threes, especially in transition. And that's got to be a major focus for us. And I don't really care who does it. You got to be ready for everybody. They're obviously an incredibly deep team. And, I think that, it's not a matter of the who, it's a matter of the how and the consistency in which we attack it.
We'll go to Mike Regalado with Bruin Report Online.
Hey, Coach. Just my usual questions. Let's start off with Charisma. Any update? Is she going to be available?
Say that one more time, Mike.
Charisma, how is she doing? Is she going to be available for the Stanford game?
Yeah, I don't know yet. Honestly, I thought I would know by this call, but she's got one more thing she's got to do tomorrow. I am cautiously hopeful that we'll see some minutes from her, but I really haven't she has not been cleared yet. But I did get a text message right before this from the training staff that they're going to do a couple more tests tomorrow morning, and we'll see. But I'm hopeful. She did get a few half court reps today in practice, so I'm hoping that we'll get to see some of her tomorrow.
We saw a little bit of Cam and Bryn last week. Not a lot of time, but it still seems that might be because they're still trying to get to 100%. How are they doing? How are they progressing?
Yeah, they've responded well. They're still going to be on a minute restriction. That's probably not going to change for a while. So they'll probably be in the 8 to 10 at the most range from the medical staff. And so, you can see this gets a little tricky. We have been able to push Chantel's restriction up a little bit more. So we're glad about that. And she's responding great, but we still are going to have some limitations that way. So, one of the things that's been hard the last 2 games, and we have been doing really well with this, is we got to defend without fouling. We got to play defense with our feet. We've really, not only from an efficiency standpoint, sending people to shoot free throws way too much, but it really messes with our rotations. And we just do not have that margin for error. That's going to be a really key factor because we do have all these restrictions. The math just after a while doesn't add up. There's no one else to put out there because of the restrictions. You can't say, oh, they have 7 bodies, or maybe we have, because the numbers don't really match up that way. So it's really important that we play disciplined basketball with our feet and we don't give away any cheap ones, not only for Stanford's efficiency, but for our rotations.
And last question, Chantel, how are you doing progressing with the minutes you do have? And, once you're on the court, how's it feel to be, participating with the team?
Honestly, it just feels so fun, and it's so freeing to have these minutes restrictions lifted. Feels like I've been working towards this for so long, so it's really rewarding to finally be able to play and just continue to grow in confidence every game and do what I can to help the team every time I step out on the floor.
Chantel, people don't know what you go through and sacrifice every day to get your body ready. Would you be willing to share a little bit about that so people even have a sense of what you do to get yourself ready to go every single day?
Sure. I mean, just a little bit. Before practices, I'm doing rehab in the training room, doing a lot of calf work, a lot of jump work, a lot of strengthening. But as much as like that comes with being a basketballer, there's always going to be things that are playing up. So if something else arises, then I'm doing stuff to focus on that, or just continuously. It feels like I'm continuously rehabbing, but it's in a good way, in a preventative way, and in a way that's getting me back healthy on the court. And then just within practices, as we build up, because it was an impact injury, just building up gradually and cautiously was so crucial. So I wasn't able to just come off a 2-week break after having COVID and dive right back into full trainings and full games. So that gradual build up is good for my body, but it's not always, I guess, the best for my basketball. So I do what I can and try to make the most of every minute that I am out on the floor in practice and in games to
Thank you
improve.
thank you very much. Good luck to all of you this week.
We'll go to Grace Whitaker with the Daily Bruin.
Hi, my question is for Chantel and Natalie. After some of the tough losses and the adversity with all the injuries, how do you feel as a player that the confidence and attitude of the team has been impacted?
Go, Chantel.
I honestly think that despite all the losses and the injuries, the belief in the group that we have hasn't wavered. We, from the get-go, even before all the adversity hit us, we knew we had a very talented squad, a very deep squad, and you know, us players and the coaching staff believe in everyone that's on this team. So as much as the losses were hard and losing people to injury is very sad and never easy for a squad, we are still deep and we do still have a lot of talent and a lot of belief that we can still get the job done, and what we have is enough.
Yeah, everything that Chantel was saying. And I believe that we just have a really mature group. We know that we have roles and jobs to do every single game. And I think Coach Tasha was the one who said it last game, that every single one of us is like the best at something. Like Chantel and Izzy like are the best in Australia, from Australia, and then we have Bryn, who's the best from Canada. We have so many people who've played on their national teams, and it's just we haven't had to play in these roles on this team, but we've played every single role throughout all of our careers. So we just have like a really mature team when it comes to our personalities and also from our basketball experiences. So we kind of know like what we have to do because we've played for so long, all of us.
What's your superhero on your roll card?
I'm Hawkeye.
Okay, I'm not an Avengers person, so I don't know, but on everyone's roll card, not only do they have what their best shots are, what their sort of role on the team, you know, all those kinds of things are really spelled out, but they each have an Avenger character and a quote associated with them. And it means more to them to me, but what's yours, Chantel?
I'm Captain America.
Yes.
The Australian is Captain America.
So, but I think that sort of goes to your question, Grace. I think we're just going back to what are you good at and what do you bring? And we just want them. Elite to us means the best version of yourself. And we need everyone to bring their elite self and to live through that. And I think they've done a really good job of that.
Go to Haley Sawyer with SoCal News Group.
Hello, for players and coach. Last year, obviously you played Stanford in the Pac-12 championship game. What do you guys remember the most about that game?
Players first.
Natalie, would you please go first?
I'm trying to, I just know it was, for me personally, I don't think I was where I am now, like mentally. So I'm really excited to see how much I've grown in that way. It was a while ago, so I know, like, I mean, Stanford, like Coach Cori said, they have like a really set system. So yeah, sorry, I'm trying to think back, but Chantel, what do you?
It's okay. If you're ready to move on to the
Yeah,
next. That.
we learned what we needed that season, and then we moved on.
Go ahead, Chantel.
I feel terrible. I have a very similar response to Nat. I didn't play in that game due to injury. So, but I do, from what I do remember from the sidelines, it was a really tough competitive game. But we also did have a lot of mental errors and things that could have been easy fixes. So I'm really looking forward to this time being on the court when we play them and being able to turn it around.
Honestly, very few of our players, I was just trying to think of, you know, how many of our players now that are playing in this game played in that game, and very few, quite frankly, you know. So, I mean, you're talking Lauren Miller, Emily, You know, obviously Michaela, Lindsay Casaro, you know, it's really a whole different deal. I think there are things obviously to learn from that. I think what did we do well when we won? What didn't we do well when we lost? They were really able to get in rhythm early in that first game, or excuse me, in the championship game. And it was just the opposite. And when we beat them up there. So also even the first game down at our place, they really won the game on rebounding. We forced the kinds of first shots that we wanted. And I think that's going to be a huge key to the game tomorrow. So, you know, I think mostly we've tried to say, hey, that's our job as coaches to really go, okay, what is the strengths of this team? You know, we were very Kiana Williams, you know, focused last year, and now they're very different in that. I think they're much more post oriented this year. Their efficiency in the paint, how they're finding their posts, the amount of them, how often they're going, they're doing point guard by committee, which we of course can relate to. So I think there's just so many differences, even though they do return a lot of players, their emphasis, their shot productivity from certain people is very different. So there's things to be learned, but this is really a brand new team for us and a brand new scouting report for Stanford.
And then Natalie, you've been around this program for quite some time now. So what's the biggest thing that you've kind of learned in your years here that you've taken into the season, especially this time right now when you're kind of dealing with some injuries?
I've been actually thinking a lot about that because I like talked to my mom. Yeah, so definitely gratitude that I have for the game of basketball and also the people that are around me, like my teammates and coaches, and also just like every single game that I get to play, especially like from our experiences from this year and also last year, like every single game. It's honestly a gift. And like it being me and Chantel's last year, like just really wanting to embrace every single moment because we love UCLA, and just being able to like end our college careers here, like just so much gratitude for the people and also the game of basketball.
Thanks.
Is there any more questions? I know Andrea's got some, but we'll stay on the call for that. But if anybody else has any more questions, feel free to ask them now. All righty. Thanks, guys.
Do I need to stay on, Vinny?
Dre, would you like Coach stay on?
Or we see you tomorrow? Oh,
You
you're
can mute.
muted, Drea.
Sorry. No, Coach, I'll talk to you tomorrow after shoot around, and then I just had like 2 or 3 for Chantel and Natalie.
Okay, perfect. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thanks, Coach.
Awesome. Hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks. How are you?
Good. Vinny, it's just going to be us, right?
Yeah, do you want me to stop the recording?
Nice. Oh, I mean, I don't. Who are you sending the recording out to? Actually, yeah, you can stop the recording.
Any media who asks. Let's see here.
Oh yeah, we can stop that. They